All right, what is up, everybody? I'm going to film this very raw, unedited video, and I'm going to pretty much walk over the exact strategy and literally how I built up my entire Amazon business from day 1 to month 12, right? I'm going to take you through that first full entire year that led me to selling over $1 million within that year, that led me to a point where I was doing 6 figures in revenue, by, I think it was like my 8th or 9th month. And I'm going to show you the numbers. I'm going to show you how I progressed from month 1, month 2, month 3, literally the whole entire progression to getting to that 6-figure revenue month, what it took to get there. And I'm going to explain to you the sustainable OA model. This is what I like to call it. It is the model that allows me to sell so many different items with a couple different sourcing methods that allows me to bring on products all the time, that the systems that I implemented to really expedite that whole thing to make it as easy as possible. And again, this is going to be unedited. Just going to show you the numbers. I'm going to show you what it took to really get there and how long it took me to get there. I'm going to try and make this video not super long either. I respect you guys' time and I don't want you to sit here. I'm going to try and pretty much sum up the whole entire thing as fast as possible with giving you as much value as possible so you can go ahead, know what it takes, implement this, do it for yourself, and there's a lot of information out there about Amazon, right? There's a million different videos and a million different people you can watch that are going to tell you this is the best way to do Amazon, and this is just the way I do it. This is the way all my videos are pretty much based around, because this is just what I did, and I'm going to show you I'm going to give you proof. I'm going to show you all the tips, different types of items that I sold. I'm not going to tell you the exact product, but I'm going to show you how many different items there were, and why it worked so well, real numbers, all that kind of stuff broken down in this video. Because some people on Instagram or wherever are going to tell you just got to go to stores and scan a bunch of shoes and you can flip them. And yes, you absolutely can. That is one way of selling on Amazon. But again, that is not the way that I sell on Amazon. I like to build a very sustainable OA model that allows me to do a bunch of work, find a bunch of stuff, bring them on, and then I can just kind of rinse my money over and over and over again, churn it. And essentially I built myself a cash gen machine at this point where I've just sold through thousands of different items, and I can pick and choose when I want to put money into them, when they're at their peaks, when I can make the most amount of money on them. And nowadays my Amazon business, hovers right around that 6-figure a month, but my margin is substantially higher than it's ever been because I've gone through this period in this phase of testing so many items. My margin hovers anywhere from 18 to 20% now with warehouse costs, so it's possible to get there. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to be doing 20% margin right away because that's just unrealistic, and that's not what I did my first year. And again, I'm going to show you all that, but this is what it took to get to a point, where now I've been doing this for almost 3 years, and I'm just cash generating, income every single month from this business, and this is completely doable for you as well. So let's just jump into it. Again, I didn't really have much, things to go off of. I just have some things that I can kind of reference here to help me with this whole entire thing that I'm talking about. But essentially, what is the sustainable OA model? It's the thing that I do. And again, I'm just buying everything online. I'm not going to store at all. I'm doing no RA whatsoever. I've never done RA. Maybe here and there, Walmart, I'll walk into once I already know what I'm looking for. I know what aisles, and I'll go grab some if I needed to in the early stages. But I don't do it at all anymore. I am definitely not buying a ton of just one product until I've already tested it. I am diversifying my risk completely. So I am also selling untapped categories. I'm not selling just your typical shoes, your beauty. I'll actually stay away from both of those categories. I like to sell other things, arts and crafts, to name an example. And there's just so many other categories and brands you've never ever heard of that do extremely well on Amazon. And doing some of these sourcing methods that I'll touch on a bit allowed me to kind of get introduced to those. Okay, so I'm not focused on one brand. You see a lot of people that only sell Nike or only sell Under Armour or Puma or Jones Road. Like, they only specifically sell those brands, and it's cool until it's not cool, and then you can no longer sell that brand because they get gated or whatever happens. You get an IP, and now your business crumbles in literally 1 minute. Okay, again, I'm not relying on promotions and clearance. I'm not relying on like that Kohl's cash method. I'm not doing none of that. That is not how I do my Amazon business. Okay, I'm buying with zero limitations. A lot of the products that I buy nowadays, I just buy from websites that don't have order cancels. And again, that's just something that you pick up over time, and you just find items that meet that criteria. And it's just a numbers thing. It's just you've found so many items, and you have the ability to just focus on those after, because you know the whole market. Okay, and again, I have 100% control over this. I filmed a video about this last week, how to get control over your business. I have full control over my business because, again, I am buying stuff online. I'm not limited on what my stores have and whatnot. I'm not limited if a product goes out of stock. I don't care because there's so many things to throw money into with this sustainable OA model. I'm not relying on one thing. I don't have crazy peak months. Okay, and you don't have long-term control over a lot of these ways people teach how to sell on Amazon. Okay, and again, stuck chasing forever. all my stuff compounds. Everything is compounding. Again, going back to that aspect of I can grow my ROI and my margins simply because I've just had so many different things that I've sold, and I have so many different places to park that money into inventory that I can just keep repeating that over and over and over again. Okay, so here is exactly why 99% of Amazon sellers get stuck. And again, I want to keep this video not super long. I want to keep it short and sweet, and I want to show you guys what the numbers look like from that first month to that first 6-figure month. So I'm going to show you that too right after this, but I just want to quickly touch on this because this is very important. And the reason most people get stuck, and I know this because I talk to so many of you guys on people, you guys that get on these demo calls and whatnot, just to kind of see what it's like. And this is what I always hear. Okay, I'm stuck at $1,000 a month. I've been selling for 10 months and I've done maybe 5,000 total. So this is kind of big. This is a 5K a month, by itself is pretty big from what I usually hear. Honestly, it's kind of crazy, but you're doing it part-time. You're confused. You suck at sourcing. You tried OA and you quit right away because you couldn't figure it out. And you understand the potential that there's money in it because you've made some sales, but you're just stuck doing RA because OA is too hard. And it's because you are sourcing wrong. I'll tell you that right now. You're looking in the wrong spots, or you're just not investing enough time into it, which is just a you problem. Hate to break it to you, but it is going to take some time to really get good at this method and find products. And that's just the reality of it. Okay, you want to generate 20K a month profit? Well, it's going to take some work. That's just kind of how it works. Sorry to break it to you. But the next tier I see, and I see this all the time as well, is people that are doing OA, but they're doing it the hard way. They're doing it ways that is very inconsistent. They're only relying on promos. They're only relying on clearance. They're relying on access to products that they can't always get their hands on, or like BOLO products that are only good one time of the year. That's when they make all their money. That's why you see some sellers that have $300,000 months 1 month of the year, and then the rest of the year they're just flat because they're only relying on that one thing. Now, obviously, this number here is much lower. There's people that do it at lower tiers, and you have those people that do it at higher tiers. And again, that's another way to sell on Amazon, right? That works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It 1,000% can work, but it is not the business model that I've done myself and the one that I kind of touch on. So again, like I'm just touching on the one that worked for me. Okay, this is just one that worked for me. That's very consistent. And again, you usually have a lot of products that do tank in price because everyone's kind of doing this. You maybe find one item a week because your sourcing methods are just, you're shooting for that one home run item and maybe you find one of them a week, but you're not really capitalizing on all the opportunity that you are looking at because you don't realize that it is an opportunity to capitalize on. Because you're just stuck in that mindset of looking for only home run items, which it's not really what you should be doing when you're doing OA. You want to be building that sustainable business long term. You want to be considering all types of ways to make that money. Okay. Essentially, you're doing OA the wrong way, and you're like, is this even worth it? And then here we get to the stage that I'm at. And the one that I built very, very quickly on, just from bringing on a bunch of different products on. This is the business owner stage. You're making 10K plus profit a month. You can quit that job. Now you can do this full time. Take that money, throw it into real estate. Do whatever you want with that money. Right? Buy a house, buy a car, whatever you want to do. Start another business. Doesn't matter. Okay, you have endless products to buy. You can turn this thing on autopilot. You have systems in place to ensure that you can continue to do this because you've kind of gone through that process. Your sourcing is dialed in. You know exactly how to find products quickly. You have very consistent sales. You have consistent spend. You're spending your money, consistently. You're not dropping 50K in one day, but you're dropping, 50K within a 30-day period to get you to that 6-figure plus month. And then it's consistent. You're sending products in all the time, whether you are, your prep centers, or your employees are, doesn't matter. But you're always feeding the beast. You're not just feeding it once a month and then you have a crazy spike and then it's down and then your item tanked because you waited too long to send it in. Everything is very consistent. Put your 2 weeks in, it's time to quit and take this full time. So that is why 90% of people get stuck, is they're stuck in this stage. And this is the number one that I always hear people talk about. Like I message people on Instagram and yeah, I'm stuck doing RA. I've done a couple $100 this month, but I'm stuck. Okay, well, you got to pivot. Okay, so let me break down, that 10th. So it was a 10th month that I did $130,000 in revenue. My 10th month into Amazon. I'm going to show you all the numbers from April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February of 23 was my first 6-figure revenue month, and April was the first. So let's jump into those numbers. Because we jump over here, April 1st to May 1st, you can see that we are at 0. So let me drop this down real quick. I want to do this unedited. How can I do this? Let's do it like this. Let's drag that out a bit so I can click. So we got $0 right there. So here we go, $0, 0. Then we go to May 1st to June 1st. We're sitting at 10K. And a lot of you, that have watched my videos for a while, you kind of know what my story was behind it. I had a couple items that I was able to get from a brick and mortar store that was doing really well. So that is, why I was able to kind of see it through. And this is really what gave me the boost. So like, yes, this works for 1,000%. This works. Let me invest all my time into learning this business model. And that first very month, I did $10,000 in revenue. As we move on to June to July, so the month of June, what do we do this month? I did 16,000. So you can see we're quickly scaling. This is when I was really starting to tap into OA. I wasn't just buying from that brick and mortar anymore. Now I was actually buying some OA products, introducing it. And you can see my margin's pretty good. And again, a lot of it was from that brick and mortar. You're going to see this margin shrink as I scale, simply because I was just going through that early period of just really building out my store and going super wide. The month of July, we jumped to here. I believe this also was a growth. Yeah, 33,000 that month. We really jumped, but as you see, the margin took a hit, a pretty big hit. We still profited a good amount, but again, there is that hit there. So what is this? $33,000 in revenue. That was July. This is terrible writing. Let me just do this. 0. Let's do 10K, 16K, 33K. Oh, this is bad. Whatever. Again, I'm not editing this. So we go from August now. So there's the whole month of August. 33K the month prior. Then we are looking at, what do we got? Today, please. Okay, let's go. 41K, so another slight jump up in August. 41. Then we're going to keep moving on. September. We're getting closer to that 10th month now. Numbers are growing. You're going to see a period where I just stayed very stagnant for a couple months, and that was simply because of the capital. I was only spending a certain amount of money every single month, the month prior, and that's why I was just stagnant at that number. So you're going to see a massive jump once I just threw a bunch of money in, and that was after I took out an Amazon loan. So here we go again, 45K in September. So just slightly more than the month prior. So you're starting to just kind of stagnate out. Not much growth. Margins, honestly, I don't remember what the one prior month was, but probably about right around the same number. October, I believe this was a growth number. 61K. Margin again. Looks pretty much the same. It's like okay margin. It's not terrible, but it's not as good as it is nowadays. And again, nowadays, I'll touch on it. It's just because there's so many different things I could throw money into. I've gone through this period of building out this store. So now we got November. Now we're looking at a slight drop, actually, 58K in November. Don't really know why that happened. Must have not spent as much the month prior. And then we move on to December. Actually, you would think December is a huge month. It really wasn't. And it's because I didn't spend that much money the month prior. And that's simply the number one factor of your sales. Obviously, it's how much are you spending on inventory. And this month, I just didn't spend enough. So we go to January, and then now we're going to see some big jump. Because now we're taking out some more money to invest in product. We're looking at $82,000 this month, a pretty big jump. And then February is going to be that first 6-figure revenue month. And that, again, is simply because of an influx of capital that I got access to, which was from an Amazon loan. But look at this margin. It's pretty bad. And it's because I'm just going so wide on that inventory and I'm testing so many different things. 130K. That my margin is just not the best, but it's still a lot of money. I mean, it's almost 15,000 profit from this amount of revenue. Now, obviously, ideally, you want to be sitting out here with about a 15 to 20%, looking at about 15,000 to 25,000 profit a month consistently. And obviously that helps with leakage in case there's anything that goes missing. So you always want to really make sure your margin is at a bare minimum 10%. Okay. If you're under a 10% margin, you're running a very risky business. You got to be careful because that leakage is going to eat in. And next thing you know, you're at a 0%. You're just you're not making any money at all, but you think you are. So this is the progression. There are the numbers. There's the margin. This works for sure. And the number one thing I want to show you, actually, I forgot to even do this on the other months. I'm going to go back here, but February, look at how many different items I sold. I believe each page here is 50 different products. So each page you go through is 50 products. So this is page 2. All these different ASINs, you see the amount of units they sold, how much they're each making. Everyone wants a home run item. Everyone wants, 5 to 10 items to sell, but that's simply not how it works. And the reason I'm able to find so many different items, now we're on page 3, so now we're about 150 different ASINs. The reason this method works so well, okay, now we're at 200 ASINs, we see a couple products are selling through, is because I'm so good at sourcing. I can find products in 2 seconds, and anytime I find a product that hits that criteria number, that clearly, shows signs that it's at least going to stay stable or maybe trend up and not trend down, I'm buying that item. And I'm not spending a whole bunch of money on it until I've already tested it myself and I know for sure that this item is going to sell fast, right? So you go to the first page, you see the really fast movers like this one that I sold 470 units of that made me $1,500 in profit from one item alone. I already tested that item in the previous months and I knew it was selling, so I kept buying it, but it didn't just happen overnight, right? It didn't just happen that next month, because if we go to page 3 from February this month where I did 130K, these items that only sold, you see a big stack of 12 units sold, 11 units sold, 10 units sold. These are all the first time I'm ever buying these products that are coming up, and this is just test buys on these items, because the next months after, then I'm going to start stocking them up a bit heavier because I've already tested them, and the ones that are actually profiting, I'm going to want to spend money on. But then if you look at a product like this, right, 4 returns, 10 sales, I lost $50, I'm not restocking that item. But it's not a big deal because I only bought 10 of them. And if we jump to an item like this, 14% for 14% margin. Okay, I sold 10, 0 returns, 14% margin, maybe $16. Now let me scale this to maybe 100 units the next month because I've already tested it. And that is why that margin just substantially, exponentially begins to grow later on, and why now I can operate at 15 to 20% is because I can really be picky and choosy with what I'm buying. Okay, so that's that general overview of like that progression. And if we look at a very simple overview of all this, you have your sourcing strategies, your reverse sourcing product finder efficiently. And you might be doing these methods and you can't find anything. It's because you're probably doing it wrong. Okay, you have to be efficient with sourcing. Think about it this way. This is the best piece of advice I can give for anyone that's struggling is get your products per hour. How many products are you looking at in an hour? As high as you possibly can. So this just takes practice and knowing where to look and knowing like what pieces to look at on SellerAmp or what filters to plug in to really allow that to be the case where you can just look through a bunch of items quickly, because 99% of items you look at aren't going to work. So you have to get to that 1% as fast as you possibly can. So how do you get to that 1%? You look through more products. So that's the biggest piece of advice I can give for this. The next thing is obviously tools to automate the whole thing. So setting up a repricer, I use Aura. Getting sourcing taken care of. I got a VA in August of that year. She really helped me scale. I still have her to this day. It's been about over 2 years that she's been with me. So get a VA, a good VA, vet them out properly to help you with sourcing when you have more capital. Obviously, these read plans begin to hit, and a lot of that money, instead of having to always be sourcing, I recommend at least a VA always sourcing for you no matter what, so you always have new items coming. But now you can spend that maybe $2K every single day you want to spend, or $8K, or $14K a week you want to spend in inventory. A lot of that, maybe 80% is just going to restock the items you've already sold through that are really profitable. So it gets very easy and very scalable. And obviously, you want to track your profitability. Like I was showing you Seller Board, you want to make sure you're buying products that are actually making you money and not losing you money with returns and shipping. Okay, and obviously capital, you just have to have capital to scale. You see me jump from that December month to the February month. That simple increase in sales came from literally zero extra work other than me having to place orders, versus me just getting extra money. I took a $40,000 loan from Amazon when they still did those loans, and literally got that $40,000 loan, bought the exact same stuff that I was already buying, maybe a couple items here and there, and next thing you know, I'm doing $130,000 with much more profit. It's a very simple process. This whole entire thing is extremely simple, and again, it's all about building this foundation right here that allows you to do all of these and eventually scale to whatever number you want with this business. Okay, this is the very sustainable OA model that I know most people want to build, one that allows you to pay for, you can buy whatever, you can do whatever you want with this business, right? Obviously, you need to put all that time up front, but then after you've been doing it for a couple months and it's running on its own, now you can focus on other things you want to do. Okay, it's very sustainable. You're not relying, you can sleep at night not knowing that your business can't break in overnight if one product goes away. And that's the biggest factor, and that's why this business is so powerful. And I don't see a lot of people, I don't see anybody anywhere talk about building an OA business like this. It's usually just people trying to get you to go to their page after scanning some shoes and going to Ross and calling you broke because you can't make $100 going to Ross. Okay, no. Some items I sell, I lose money on, as you see. There's some items here that are very low margin. It's the reality of it. But the thing you need to do is be good at sourcing, and these are the methods you want to do. I have videos on my page that go over it, but just be efficient at it. Okay, and then you can expect some growth like this as long as you are consistent in spending money daily. Okay, and it's not just me. I have so many case studies. I'm not to spam you guys with case studies. Sorry, but I want to show you that this works because I know it does work, and I want you guys to see that it works, and it's very possible to do something like this. But I'm going to spam you guys with case studies right now, so be prepared. And also, yeah, I'm going to also start spamming case studies on my YouTube because I want you guys to see what's possible with this business because it really does work. And you can, I'm not going to say you're going to become a millionaire, but you can definitely start generating $1,000 extra a month, then 5,000, then 10,000, whatever you want to scale to very easily once you're able to get that foundation. And again, my videos are to help you build that foundation because look at how many case studies we got here. These are all separate little things here. If we jump here, Eric, literally, you can just see his progression right here. $2,000 on what is this? August 2nd. Now we come to August 6th. Now he's again having a good day. Then $10,000 by the end of August that month, and this is right when he was fresh. And now he's sitting at $20K 1 month later. So from $2,000 in 30 days, we implement this system where he's finding products, and now he's doing $20K within the last 30 days. Crazy. Okay, I know. Collins. We started back here, no sales, boom. He's already at 20K. Now he's sitting at 40K from the 7th. You can see this was back in June. He was here at 20K. Now he's at 40K, but we started in February. He had zero clue. I remember setting up his Rolo printer with him. Rolo printers are a pain in the ass set up if you don't know that by now. Yeah, so Melissa, same thing. We could see selling through old stuff. She got a section 3, and then we implemented this model, and now we're just scaling, right? 10K within there, and now we're sitting at 20K. I believe this month she finished at 25K, and this just happened. We can see this progression. This is old inventory selling through at probably a loss from way before when she was buying a bunch of Nike stuff that she got a section 3 for because she was misled. And yeah, now we're building that sustainable model, building those systems in place where she can efficiently scale her store. And again, she's already at 25K 30. Tafa 2, okay, same thing. VA's on board, more capital coming, wholesale accounts. He knows what the deal is. Foundations are in place. It's time to scale. Bunch of individual ones down here. Dre, 16K. Jose, $3,000 within 7 days. Kenna, 13,000. You can see, started with me. He had no idea. A lot of mistakes he was making with Keepa analysis. Tandem, 24K in 3 months. Ellie, started Dave a month ago from zero, no experience, just an Amazon account with no sales inventory. I'm starting to move little by little. Here we go. What is that? $6,000 within 7 days. Again, $1,200 a day. Started with zero experience. This is a slower month for Josh. 30K, I guess that's a slower month. Cool. Josh absolutely crushing it. Jump into here. Cami, again, same thing. 12K. Second month, you see zero experience. Foundations are being built. Boom. She's scaling 10K months. There we go. Adam, same thing. Okay, look at this, $21,000. Look at this, zero sales, systems in place, easy expansion, easy growth. Now we're at 21K, months pumping, 21,000 year to date. And then this is within half a month, $1,500. So imagine you're profiting an extra $3,000 a month from an online business by your 3rd month. Okay, it's pretty insane. You can actually do this. Brian, another crazy success story. He used to really struggle, but we put the exact same system in. Now he's a source. Now he's a VA. He's printing. He's making some extra money every single month. $2,000 to $3,000 profit a month coming in. And again, you just got to trust the process because this stuff does work as long as you're willing to commit to it. Corey, too, you can see right here when you were starting out, not huge numbers, proof of concept, right? 29 units sold. Now we jump here. We're at $4,000 in the 30 days. And now, again, we can see that the sales are how they're growing just like that. Again, same thing. It works, selling trash bags. Edson started with another person, struggled. They didn't really teach him like he wanted to. It was like kind of that old school OA model, like this example right here. It's like this. We transitioned him to this one where it's sustainable, much more efficient. And as you see, his sales have just absolutely grown. Already sitting at 10K on the month, and not even halfway through the month of August, he's sitting at that 10K mark. So, I mean, I can show you so many of these different, results here, Rich. First full month FBA, $7,000. Second full month, now we're sitting at $10,000. Crazy growth again. Danny, brand new, first sale. Now we're sitting at 2K. Then 1K, and now we're sitting at 5K, and it's been what? It's been not even a full. And again, this is simply because the capital issue. This is just how much capital he threw in. So this is obviously going to grow exponentially as we leverage more business credit and we're able to grow the sales. But nonetheless, these systems are in place to scale. That's the big thing. The systems are in place to scale, and that's what this business has to offer. Okay, you learn the business, sustainable OA model. If this sounds cool to you, if you want to be one of these people that are absolutely crushing it with this exact model that you can grow depending on the capital, then book in that call down below. There's a Calendly link. Me and you will chat. I'm going to give you a demo of what it's like. Okay, it's not a sales call. It's no pressure on that call. It's just a demo of what it's like to work with me. I'm going to show you what the modules look like. I'm going to show you what that one-to-one aspect looks like. I'm going to show you some examples of how I communicate with my students. obviously I give you products to sell just to really get you going and to help you grow and to scale this. This is on a full one-to-one basis, me and you over Zoom, building out your store together, just like this, like I've been able to do, like my students are able to do. If this interests you, if this sounds cool, again, I tried to make this video not that long. I might have been kind of long, but I want to show you the whole model, and I'll give you the opportunity to work with me directly to help you build this as well. So book in that call down below on Calendly. We'll chat, give you a demo, see if it's a good fit. This is the sustainable OA model explained fully in depth. I hope you enjoyed the video. All right, see you guys next week. Peace.